Yeah.
I don't want to get this school.
No, I know.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's up and straining, so.
Oh, geez.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna get started in about a minute. All right, it is 6:30. Okay, good evening, everybody. I apologize. It is cold in here. The custodian shut the furnace down
Budget
last
restraints.
week. Yeah, so, but I am going to call this meeting to order on, Tuesday, May 21st, 2025. And the time is 6:30. This is the Town of Griswold Annual Budget Meeting held in Griswold Town Hall, Main Meeting Room, 28 Main Street, Griswold, Connecticut. Present, First Selectman Tina Falk, Second Selectman Martin McKinney, Third Selectman Rich Grabowski. We also have Cynthia Martin, Republican Registrar of Voters, Scott Davis, Board of Finance. Is Tom Pulaski here? Nope, all right. Eric Christensen, Finance Director, Lori Sorter, Jewett City Borough Warden, and we have Kelsey, pronounce your last name.
McConnell.
Yep, McConnell, make sure it's correct. And we have, how many, did we do a count on?
I'm working it.
Okay.
I've got 20, yes.
Okay, we have 20 interested townspeople. That's a good number. That's great. And now, town clerk will read the warning.
So notice and warning is hereby given to the legal voters of the town of Griswold and those property owners qualified to vote in the town meeting pursuant to section 7-1 of the Connecticut General Statute, that the annual budget meeting will be held Wednesday, May 21st, 2025 at 6:30 PM at the Griswold Town Hall, 28 Main Street, Griswold, Connecticut, to consider and to take action on the following items as indicated below. 1, to authorize the Board of Selectmen to expend the monies received from the state of Connecticut under town aid roads for fiscal year 2026. 2, to hear the Board of Finance's estimate of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year 2026. 3, to consider and take action on the general government budget for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $11,079,001 as recommended by the Board of Finance at their meeting held April 29th, 2025. 4, to consider and take action on the Board of Education budget for the fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $33,370,859 as recommended by the Board of Finance at their meeting held April 29th, 2025. 5, notice and warning is further given that the question of whether to approve the amounts of the proposed appropriations as set by the annual budget meeting be adjourned to a date set by the annual budget meeting, such date to be not less than 7 days nor more than 14 days after the annual budget meeting for a yes or no vote on the voting machines. The optical scanning voting machines will be located at the following polling places. District 1 and 2, Griswold Town Hall, 28 Main Street, Griswold, Connecticut. And 6, to consider and take action on the following resolution. Resolved that the date and hours of vote by optical scanning voting machines on the appropriations proposed by the annual budget meeting for fiscal year 2026 shall be Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, between the hours of 6 AM and 8 PM. Dated at Griswold, Connecticut, this 14th day of May, 2025. Tina Falk, First Selectman, Martin McKinney, Second Selectman, Richard Grabowski, Third Selectman.
Thank you, Kelsey. And now I will ask for a nomination for moderator. Yes.
I'll nominate Rich Kowalski.
Okay, Todd Babbitt has nominated Rich Grabowski for moderator.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Grabowski,
Any other nominations?
are there any? I didn't see
Okay,
any hands up.
having already read the call of the meeting, but I will ask the town clerk to serve as the secretary for this budget meeting. Okay, we'll go item by item. Number one, to authorize the Board of Selectmen to expend the monies received from the state of Connecticut under the town aid roads for fiscal year 2026. I'll need a motion in a second.
Make the motion to authorize the Board of Selectmen to expend the monies we thought received from the state of Connecticut on the county road for fiscal year 2026. Second that.
Seconded by Scott.
Okay, we have a motion made by Todd Babbitt and a second by Scott.
Scott Davis.
Yep, Scott Davis.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so moved. Item two, to hear the Board of Finance's estimate of revenues and expenditures. Before I do that, just if anybody doesn't have the minutes or the call of the meeting, the information's on both sides if you're interested. Item, to hear the Board of Finance's estimate of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year 2026. They are on the back of the call of the meeting, and the Chairman Davis is here from the Board of Finance. If anyone has any questions? Hearing none, we'll go on to item three. To consider and take action on the general government budget for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $11,079,001 as recommended by the Board of Finance at their meeting held April 29th, 2025. I'll need a motion in a second.
Motion to take action on the general government budget for fiscal year 26, in the amount of $11,079,001 as recommended by the Board of Finance at their meeting held April 29th, 2025.
Seconded by Rich. Motion made and seconded on item three. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, Jim, I'm sorry.
Question, I have some comments I want to make in general. I didn't know we would.
On that, on item three.
Yeah, I know that.
All right,
Okay, I'm gonna recommend that, we consider, reducing all budgets except for the debt service budget by 1%.
okay, there's a motion on the floor to reduce, I'm sorry.
All budgets with the exception of the debt service.
Well, we can't do that. I'm gonna have to do it one at a time. It's general government right now.
To reduce the general government budget by 1% with the exception of the debt service portion of that.
Okay, there's a motion in a second to reduce the general government budget by 1%. Do I have a second? Do I hear a second? Hearing none, motion dies. All in favor of item three, Todd made the motion to accept it. Rich Wadsworth seconded that nomination. All in favor? All opposed? One opposed. Item four, to consider and take action on the Board of Education budget for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $33,370,859 as recommended by the Board of Finance at their meeting held April 29th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to take action on the Board of Education budget for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $33,370,859 recommended by the Board of Finance at their meeting held April 29th, 2025.
Thank you, Wayne. Rich Wadsworth seconds it. Any discussion?
Same motion to make a reduction of 1% across the Board of Education budget.
Motion by Mr. Barney to reduce the Board of Education budget by 1%. Do I have a second?
Can I have a point of order?
Sir?
when a motion's already on the floor, another motion cannot be made.
Well, I think that you can.
No, by Robert's rules, you cannot. Because there's already a motion on the floor.
Accept it or deny it.
All right, I don't know.
You can discuss it, you can make it up.
I thought you had the rule on the motion that's on the floor, then go back. Anyway, okay. I'm not gonna discuss that at all. Okay, there's a motion there's a motion made by Wayne Malin, seconded by Rich Waslick to consider and take action on the Board of Education budget, 33,378,59. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? One opposed. Item 5 is notice and warning is further given the question of whether to approve the amounts as set by the annual budget meeting be adjourned to a date set by the annual budget meeting, such date to be not less than 7 days, no more than 14 days after the annual budget meeting for a yes or no vote on the voting machines. The optical scanning voting machines will be located in the following polling places: District 1 and 2, Griswold Town Hall, 28 Main Street, Griswold, Connecticut. 6, the consider and take action on the following resolution. Resolved that the date and hours of the voting by optical scan voting machines on the appropriations proposed by the annual budget meeting for fiscal year 2026 shall be Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Need a motion and a second on that.
Make a motion, accept as read.
Rich Waslet made the motion. Do I have a second? Todd? Motion made and seconded to set the date for the voting on the budget as Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
Okay.
So we will adjourn the annual town meeting until the end of the voting on June 3rd. Thank you.
Adjourn at 6:41.
Thank you.
I have to look that up. I don't know. I always thought